Back to the reparations discussion. Yeah, man, I'm just thinking, man, like, that's the thing, man, Tariq, you be saying things about like that 1870. Then anybody say otherwise to it, you got zealots stuff. Yeah, that's why you saying it. Man, this shit is serious, man. This is serious dialogue. When it comes to those records, you gotta be very meticulous. It ain't about you matching your name. You gotta have birth certificates, man. That's the only really thing that kind of link you in a sense. Because anybody can just get some census and say they're attached to it. You know. All right, I filled out some census forms. And, you know, you got people who changed their name through marriage and all that stuff. Man, this thing gonna have to be more detailed. But birth certificates is the only way I can really see it. People really tie themselves to, you know, far back. You know, my birth certificate got my parents' name. You know, I'm so happen to have an uncommon name. You know, I so happen to have an uncommon name. Now my parents' name, okay. Now I need my grandparents' birth certificate to link my mother to her. Then I'm gonna need my great-grandparents' birth certificate to link my grandmother to them, so on and so forth. Can I get those birth certificates? I got other grandparents, you know, other family members. You know, would it be some kind of conflict of everybody reaching for those birth certificates? Trying to order once this reparation thing go down. Oh man, some revamping has to be done, man. We gotta have an easier, more simpler way, but at the same time, it gotta be enough to screen out the non-FBA. It's gonna have to be simple, man. You can't go so far back like that. 1870. You're gonna screen out all those black folks whose ancestors didn't even bother with the census form, who was too afraid of the white man, the white supremacists, to even care to be around them. Why would they want to tell all their family business like that? You know? I would go back to like the time of Tulsa, 1920s, the height of black people's, you know, success. And we probably kept some good records. That's probably why a lot of us can go back that far. Say, well, some immigrants can slip in, but how far will they get though? Come on, man. It's very easy really to weed them out. Immigrants and non-FBA, it's very easy to screen them out. Some will slip through the cracks just like in the Native American tribes. But I don't think it's going to be to that degree, because now we know what to look out for. You know, it's going to have to be other stipulations, man. Somebody can't go back to the 1870s. It doesn't mean they're not FBA. It just means perhaps maybe their family didn't keep good records like that. But they shouldn't be shut out. That's not how it goes with birthright, man. You ain't talking about no just some little rinky-dink benefit. This is birthright stuff, man. This is talking about ancestors. This is with ancestor stuff, man. You don't shut anybody out their birthright. You know, the Bible talks about birthright. You don't shut people out their birthright, man. And a lot of family, man, back in those times, they wouldn't be so gung-ho to fill out the census. You gotta think about the mindset of people back then, man. They didn't trust white people like that. Oh, you let us out? Why you wanna know? Why you wanna know what I do for a living? Why you wanna know how old my child is? You know, how many children I have? See what I'm saying? Would a lot of black people back then be so quick to fill out census forms in the 1870s? Now you might have some still hold on to massa. They be, sure, massa, I'll fill this out. What about the ones who hated slavery, who couldn't wait to get out there, who wanted to kill massa? They ain't gonna have that trust to go filling out some damn census forms. And then right after slavery, was anybody able to read? You got people, man, they didn't fill out census forms with misspelled names. I'm just saying, man, come on, think, folks. Yeah, we brought our literacy rate up, but it took a while, man. Now you gonna deny the ancestors of those people reparations because the record keeping wasn't meticulously done? They got names spelled wrong, or they put down nicknames, and then they omitted certain children. Come on, man. We're gonna need a more effective means of identifying potential FBA, because really it's all potential. Yeah, we can say, yeah, I got census go back to this and that. And you might be fortunate enough to have family members who cared. No family members back then thought about this. Oh, we're gonna get reparations for the future, so we're gonna do this and that. Who would have foreseen this? Just saying, man. The time is going to have to be lowered, increased, man. It can't be no 1870, man. That's too far back. I would say around the 1920s, man. Now somebody say, well, some non-FBA can get in there. Yeah, but how far they gonna go? How many back then? How many of them was back then like that? How many immigrants from the diaspora? So you gotta think about it. Yeah, non-FBA. They gotta, first and foremost, they gotta be classified as black. See what I'm saying? They ain't gonna be like no white immigrants or no Hispanic immigrants to be able to get in. They'll be shut out anyway. So we'll be dealing with sheer black non-FBAs. We'll be trying to screen out. It'll be easier to screen them out. Okay, they came. Let's say some came in the 1920s. A lot of them, did they fill out census form? Probably not. That's another bunch of them that's gonna be weeded out anyway. You know, what other criteria we can go to kind of like screen out non-FBAs from the 1920s. You know, what kind of politics they was into. Were they Nation of Islam? Was Nation of Islam back then? Think about it, folks. Most FBA gravitated towards Nation of Islam. Think about it. How many immigrants, you know, have gravitated? But here's another thing. What was the mindset of a black immigrant, a non-FBA black immigrant? Were they tethers? Or were they, you know, were they more so freedom fighters? I'm just saying, if we knew some non-FBAs was gonna slip in, what kind would we rather have, man? Would it be more acceptable, I should say? There wasn't a lot of tethers back then, man. They had to live around us anyway. They had to live among FBA. There wasn't a lot of tethers around. So I'm just saying, man, if something slipped through the cracks, would it really be that damaging? You know, okay. Well, they can bring other family with them, not with those names. Not with no Nigerian name, no African name, they can't. So I'm saying there's got to be other criteria to cut it short, that kind of make America the exclusive place of origin, man. Even if some get through the cracks. And this may sound funny to some of you FBA. I'm not cool with any FBA not getting their birthright, man. I ain't like what Tariq is talking about. I got mine, you get yours, man. That's not how people think. That's not how people operate. Yeah, black people, we passed a lot of stuff down through word of mouth. We didn't really necessarily keep documents like that. And yeah, the white slave masters have done some things, but to keep records. But you gotta think about the resistance with even that. They're gonna put resistance in our path, man. That's why we're gonna need like birth certificates and stuff like that. So you got stuff like that. Sheree talk about them white folks who reclassified Native Americans as Negro and all that. What else have they done? I'm just saying, man. It's not so cut and dry as Tariq is saying. We're gonna have to come up with some more stipulations, man, to get as many FBA in there in the mix as possible. Going off the 1870 census, man, you're gonna screen out millions of other FBA whose family didn't keep those kind of records, who didn't sign census like that. All right, folks, to be continued.